I've been the recipient of a few practices that I think border on stalking, professionally stalking, and you probably have too. And the last thing that I want you to ever be perceived as though you are overstepping or stalking your potential clients. And so I want you to learn from my experience or from those who have contacted me. So let's discuss. Well, welcome to Legal Marketing Minutes, where I share short bursts of current marketing news and advice. I'm your host, Nancy Myrland. If we haven't met, I'm a marketing, business development, content, social, and digital media speaker, trainer, and advisor for lawyers and legal marketers. Your time is valuable, so let's get started, okay? Well, just today I attended a wonderful webinar by my friends David Ackert and John Corey. If you don't know them, I recommend you get to know them because they're very smart people. And they were talking about a few things that got me thinking. And they were talking about top of funnel activities. And stick with me here. You may or may not have heard of the sales funnel. And let me shorten it to say that at the picture a funnel with the top of it being the biggest and the bottom being the smallest, obviously. And marketing activities that are at that top of the funnel, that top of the funnel is bigger. So it lets in an awful lot of people. And those are not the people that you will end up with. Those are not the people who will end up being your clients. You haven't gone through a process of, and they haven't, of self-selecting in or out of further information from you. So, and I kept that short just for the purposes of this discussion. What I don't want to see happen is what I have had happen all too often. What we want to do is acknowledge first that everybody, you do this, I do this. We all go through a bit of research before we ever want to talk to somebody about something. And that may be that could be a referral from someone else. It could be that we've gone to someone's website. It could be that we've downloaded a LinkedIn resource from me, for example. Could be that you attended the webinar like I did today from David Ackert and John Corey. It could be so many things that people are just interested in because they're curious. They're checking you out and they want some more information. They're mildly curious, or they could be very curious about their topic, but they have not yet fallen into the category of, oh my gosh, I really need to get to know this lawyer because I've just started to research him or her. So what I don't want you to do is to contact them too soon. I want you to give them room to breathe before you move in on them. And what does that mean? Well, some of you are starting to use tools such as HubSpot and some others that do some lead scoring so that you can tell when someone has been on your website. You can tell when they have visited certain pages. You can even put a Facebook or a LinkedIn pixel on your website so that you can see who has visited certain pages, and then you can contact them accordingly with a message that acknowledges that. Well, here's what I don't want to see happen. One of the largest sales companies in the world is, in my opinion, one of the most guilty actors in this respect. Every once in a while, I will read a resource. I will consume some content on this company's website, and I could be a referral source for this company because I could talk to you about this company, but I am in the research phase when I am reading their content, and it has happened on more than one occasion over the last, I'd say, 5 years, that immediately after I leave that page, then I get a phone call or I get an email, and to me, that borders on professional stalking because my behavior has not been a message to them, has not been an indication to them that I am ready for contact that is that personal. I want to have more of a relationship. I need to build those know, like, and trust factors a little bit more before they engage in a middle or a bottom of the funnel, more intimate contact with me, such as sending me an email or calling me, because I am not there yet. And your clients and prospects may not be there yet just because they have read something of yours, consumed a piece of content, made a comment on LinkedIn, followed you on LinkedIn, whatever it might be. So you have to be very careful and take it on a case-by-case basis. So be careful when you are using indicators such as a HubSpot or other lead scoring tools or even intuitive tools that you might misunderstand as someone being ready to have intimate contact with you. And then what I also don't want you to do is is to ask what I call cold contacts. You really haven't had much contact with these people, and you might have just connected with them on LinkedIn because you've seen one another online, and one of you has decided they want to get to know the other person, so contact has been made, but nothing else. No conversation, no commenting back and forth, just cold contact. Or maybe you watched them present or they watched you present, whatever it might be. And you know it in your gut. That is still a pretty distant contact. It's just a contact. It's not really a connection yet. And so what I don't want you to do is and you've probably had this happen to you, I know I have many times, and it really turns me off. Don't ask that person for an appointment. Don't send them a private message to say, or an email, wherever it might be, to say, oh, I'd like to schedule a time to show you X, Y, or Z, or to talk about X, Y, or Z. I think we can help you. Well, number one, you don't know that yet. You haven't had enough contact with that person. And so we need to respect people's boundaries. There will come a time when you have spent a little bit more time getting to know that person and helping them get to know you and interacting with them in different spaces, whether that is online. We are online with people a lot more than we were about a year and a half ago. So right now it might be that you are able to have more contact online, more commenting on someone else's content, or you see them out somewhere, or you have interacted with them in chat on a webinar. Whatever it is, you have taken the relationship a few steps further than determining that they are just a cold contact. So before you ever become that familiar with someone who is really just probably in the phase of checking you out or isn't even there yet, don't go so far as to try to get on their appointment, on their calendar. And please don't ever at this point send that and say, here's my link to my online calendar. Go ahead and schedule some time with me. I'd love to talk to you about X, Y, and Z. Well, that's putting the onus on another person who has not even indicated they even want to get to know you better. And it can be a huge turnoff. So, and of course, there are exceptions to all of these. You may have a feeling in your gut that it is a good time. And I would even be happy to give you feedback on those kinds of business development activities. So, thanks to David Ackert and John Corey for inspiring this thought, for bringing this out of my brain today. I appreciate them so much. And they've been longtime friends. So I really appreciate it. Again, be very careful. Don't stalk your prospects. Just give them some space. Let them breathe. Well, that's it for today's Legal Marketing Minutes. Do me a favor and let me know your thoughts about this topic. Have you ever been the recipient of any behavior like this, or are you curious whether something you're thinking about doing falls into this category? Let me know. I'm happy to give you my opinion on that. And you can find me on my blog. You can find my blog, podcast, videos at myrlandmarketing.com, or just email me at nancy@myrlandmarketing.com. And that's MYRLAND marketing.com. Well, thank you so much for spending a few legal marketing minutes with me. I know your time is valuable, so I appreciate you spending a few of them right here. Well, until next time, I'm Nancy Myrland. Take care.